Hi team, welcome back to our Introduction to Japanese History Anchor Fact series of printables and mini lessons. This video will serve as the summary and conclusion to the series, focusing on the American occupation of Japan as the final key to the story of Japan today. We started the series talking about the fact that Japan is a post-imperial culture. In simple terms, that means it used to be an empire and isn't anymore. But there's more to it. Japan has become a peaceful ally of the United States in the America-centric world. This is a massive transformation and one of the most positive changes in modern history. To fully appreciate this change requires that we summon the full sweep of Japanese history. The story begins with the Japanese legend of Jimmu, the first ruler of the Yamato dynasty, who Shinto belief claims was the son of the Japanese sun goddess Amaterasu. This event, which occurred circa 660 BC according to Japanese tradition, is the reason for so many aspects of Japanese culture and history. It is the reason for the fact that the Yamato dynasty is the longest-lived dynasty in all of human history. The explanation is that that dynasty has what we call divine right, a special supernatural right to be the rulers of Japan granted by the gods. It is also the reason why Japan has generally been a xenophobic culture in history, with one exception. Japan was willing to learn from China. Circa 552 AD, thanks to the initiative of the Soga clan, Japan imported Chinese writing, the government system of Confucianism, and the religion of Buddhism. Unfortunately for Soga no Iruka, this was seen as an attempted takeover, and he was killed. In order to keep the dynasty going, the Yamato rulers implemented what the Soga clan had wanted, and they added one more feature to their government, the shogunate. The shoguns became the right hand of the emperors, tasked with doing the dirty work required to keep the kingdom organized. When the Europeans arrived, that job became critical. Merchants who arrived in 1543 were not seen as a threat. But missionaries, starting with Francis Xavier, were seen as dangerous because they taught the Japanese people that their gods were fake and that there is only one God. This was not merely a religious argument. It was an attack on the divinity of the emperor. So the shogun killed the Christians in the Shimabara rebellion and implemented the sakoku policy of isolation from the outside world. Sakoku could not last while globalization was happening. In 1853, Commodore Perry of the United States arrived with a fleet of black ships and delivered the unwelcome message. Japan was upset, but agreed to the Treaty of Kanagawa in 1854, allowing Americans to access Japan. Not wanting to be controlled by foreigners, Japan's leaders quickly modernized their country and set upon a path of reactionary imperialism. They used the same gunboat diplomacy that had been used against them by America on their neighbor Korea. But they did not stop there. After defeating China and Russia in two separate wars, Japan invaded Korea and ruled it from 1910 to 1945. Luckily for Korea, Japan was defeated in World War II in Asia from 1937 to 45. It was a total defeat because the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan, forcing Japan's unconditional surrender. What came next is very important. The United States completely took over Japan. The military ruler of Japan was the American general Douglas MacArthur. As part of his military rule, he forced Japan to accept a new constitution based on the American Constitution. Among the many important features of this constitution are a couple key points. Article 1 says, "The emperor shall be the symbol of the state and of the unity of the people, deriving his position from the will of the people, with whom resides sovereign power." This means no more divine right. Article 9 is just as important. It says, "Aspiring sincerely to an international peace based on justice and order, the Japanese people forever renounce war as a sovereign right of the nation, and the threat or use of force as a means of settling international disputes. In order to accomplish the aim of the preceding paragraph, land, sea, and air forces, as well as other war potential, will never be maintained. The right of belligerency of the state will not be recognized. This means that Japan promises never to be an empire again. Has Japan kept its promise? Well, it has been over 70 years. So the answer is yes. And America has treated Japan very well for its conduct. In fact, that's the last piece of the puzzle. As part of the American occupation, an American businessman named William Deming went to Japan to teach the Japanese the art of total quality management. This was instrumental in helping them to rebuild their industries and to become the industrial superpower they are today. It's the reason why Japan is known for its excellent cars, its super fast trains, its excellent electronics. Japan was helped by America to rebuild. So Japan has accepted its place in the modern America-centric world. It's nice when history has a happy ending. At least for now. Sadly for Japan, being post-imperial does not mean that Japan isn't xenophobic. In fact, it still is. And Japan's population is shrinking. People from foreign countries are not welcome in Japan. So the fact that the Japanese are not having many babies means more people are dying than are being born. Will Japan disappear? Only time will tell. Thank you for watching. Up next in the Anchor Fact series, the story of the culture that is bigger than any other, including China. That culture is India. See you soon.